the headlines of this hour on VTV News. Vietnam prioritizes strengthening relations with Cambodia. And Vietnam embraces nuclear power development. In our world news, Biden readies $725 million arms aid package for Ukraine.
Broadcasting from Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam. VTV News starts right now.
Good morning. It is 8 a.m. local time in Hanoi, and you're watching VTV News. I'm Huyền Trần with the top stories. State President Lương Cường hosted a welcoming ceremony in Hanoi on Thursday afternoon for Cambodian King Norodom Sihamoni, who is on a two-day state visit to Vietnam.
State President Lương Cường warmly welcomed the king's visit to Vietnam, noting that it would strengthen bilateral cooperation through good neighborliness, traditional friendship, comprehensive cooperation, and long-term sustainability. He praised Cambodia's remarkable progress during the king's 20-year reign, highlighting the country's significant strides in becoming a peaceful, stable, independent, neutral, and non-aligned state with thriving development. The state president expressed confidence that the Cambodian people would achieve even greater success in the coming years. Both sides expressed satisfaction with their bilateral relations in recent years, acknowledging that, despite the challenges of history, the traditional friendship, solidarity, and mutual support between the two countries represent an invaluable legacy to be preserved for future generations. They agreed to further deepen bilateral ties across all fields, with a particular focus on educating younger generations about the close bonds, solidarity, and mutual sacrifices between the two countries, inspiring them to continue fostering the Vietnam-Cambodia friendship. State President Lương Cường proposed that the king address ongoing challenges and work with senior Cambodian leaders to facilitate the naturalization of eligible people of Vietnamese origin. He also requested support to ensure that the Vietnamese community in Cambodia could live and work legally, integrate well into local society, and serve as a bridge of friendship between the two countries.
Vietnamese Party General Secretary Tô Lâm met with Cambodian King Norodom Sihamoni on Thursday during the king's state visit to Vietnam. He expressed confidence that under King Sihamoni's reign, Cambodia would continue to achieve significant milestones in building a peaceful, independent, democratic, and a progressive society. He reiterated Vietnam's unwavering support for Cambodia's vision for development in this new era and emphasized the importance of the deep bond between the two nations. King Sihamoni, in turn, expressed his admiration for Vietnam's achievements under the leadership of the Communist Party, headed by Party General Secretary Tô Lâm. He extended his heartfelt gratitude for Vietnam's crucial support in Cambodia's liberation from the genocidal regime and its ongoing assistance in national development. The king reaffirmed Cambodia's commitment to preserving and strengthening the traditional friendship and cooperation between the two countries. Now, during a meeting with Cambodian King Norodom Sihamoni, Prime Minister Pham Minh Chính emphasized Vietnam's strong commitment to strengthening solidarity and deepening comprehensive cooperation with Cambodia. He reiterated Vietnam's dedication to working closely with Cambodia's leaders and people to further develop their bilateral ties. The Prime Minister called for enhanced collaboration in economic, cultural, scientific, and technical fields, as well as increased people-to-people exchanges. Additionally, the Prime Minister expressed his hope that the King and Cambodian leaders would work to address difficulties and obstacles and facilitate the naturalization of people of Vietnamese origin who meet legal requirements for stable residencies and employment in Cambodia. In response, King Norodom Sihamoni reaffirmed the historical significance of the Vietnam-Cambodia relationship and pledged continued support for efforts to strengthen cooperation and promote the development of bilateral ties. National Assembly Chairman Trần Thanh Mẫn on November 28 met with Cambodian King Norodom Sihamoni during the king's state visit to Vietnam. The National Assembly leader underscored that the king's two-day visit would strengthen the good neighborliness, traditional friendship, comprehensive cooperation, and long-term sustainability between Vietnam and Cambodia. The king described his ongoing state visit to Vietnam as historic and pivotal for further expanding the traditional friendship, solidarity, and cooperation between the two countries. He noted that the Cambodian and Vietnamese people have consistently supported each other as good neighbors and brothers, working together for mutual interests and for peace, stability, cooperation, and development in the region and the world. The top legislator affirmed that he, along with the entire National Assembly, will make every effort to continue strengthening cooperation with the Senate and National Assembly of Cambodia in lawmaking, supervision, and decision-making on major national issues. On this occasion, King Norodom Sihamoni expressed his deep gratitude to the party, state, and people of Vietnam for helping the Cambodian people escape the genocidal regime in the past, as well as supporting his current national construction and development process. Prime Minister Phie received Minister President Boris Rhein of Germany's state of Hesse on November 28. Rhein stated that his visit aims to strengthen cooperation with Vietnam in economics, education, training, and labor. And both sides expressed satisfaction with the positive and effective development of Vietnam-Hesse relations. Notably, bilateral trade in recent years has reached approximately 1 billion euros, accounting for 10% of total trade between Vietnam and Germany. Leading Hesse enterprises such as Bilfinger and Berger, Messer Sanofi Aventis, Fresenius, and Commerzbank have made effective investments in Vietnam. The Vietnamese leader outlined 6 priority areas for enhanced collaboration. He urged the state to support the German parliament's swift ratification of the EU-Vietnam Investment Protection Agreement, EVPA, and encourage its enterprises to expand investment and operations in Vietnam. Rhein affirmed to continue promoting cooperation between the two sides' training and research institutes in high-tech, finance, banking, semiconductor, and AI sectors, and maintaining scholarships for Vietnamese students. With Germany's recent migration labor law approval, Rhein suggested leveraging this framework to expand Vietnam's workforce presence in Hesse, thus addressing the state labor shortages while offering Vietnamese workers greater employment opportunities in Germany. Vietnam's growing economy is driving increasing energy demands. Each 10% GDP growth requires a 15% increase in electricity output, and the expansion of data centers for digital transformation could further raise demand by 20%. Now, as electricity consumption continues to climb, maintaining a diverse and secure energy supply has become critical. The revival of the Ninh Thuận nuclear power project is crucial to meet these needs, providing a reliable, large-scale, green, and sustainable energy source.
Vietnam aims to become a modern industrial economy and a leading Asian nation within the next 2 decades. To achieve this, the National Electricity Development Plan targets an increase in power capacity from 80 gigawatts to 150 gigawatts by 2030 and 570 gigawatts by 2050. However, renewables lack stability, while traditional sources face challenges.
We plan to limit coal-fired power development to reduce emissions while expanding gas-fired power at an appropriate scale. However, relying on imported gas leaves us vulnerable to global supply fluctuations.
Nuclear power provides a sustainable solution by balancing energy supply, maintaining baseload stability, and strengthening energy security for long-term economic and social development. With its advanced safety features and high-capacity output, new generation nuclear power is the optimal choice to meet this growing demand. Nuclear power not only ensures energy security, but also aligns with Vietnam's green development goals as the country moves decisively toward achieving net zero emissions.
Nuclear power emits carbon at levels comparable to wind energy and even lower in some cases. It is stable, highly efficient, and weather independent, making it an ideal base power source.
Developing nuclear energy in Vietnam offers numerous benefits, including diversifying the energy supply and enhancing energy security. It also plays a crucial role in attracting billions of dollars in foreign investment while addressing dual objectives, meeting electricity demand and ensuring environmental sustainability for long-term development.
Vietnam's agricultural exports are setting new records, with total export turnover targeted at 60 to 62 billion US dollars. Major agricultural products across the board have shown a significant growth, particularly fruits and coffee, which have made substantial contributions to the sector's total export value.
Although durian's peak season has ended, Vietnam continues to export off-season durian, which now accounts for 50% of the country's total fruit export value. It is expected that durian exports could reach 3.5 billion US dollars by the end of the year.
More than 90% of our durian exports go to China. I'm confident that next year we will break new records with new products, such as frozen durian, coconuts, and pomelos.
Coming from Vietnam into the UK, we've had a huge amount of dragon fruits and also durian fruits last year for the first time. So we know that Vietnam is already meeting the standards that the UK requires to export to the UK. It's just about marketing these products and also making sure the branding of the products really works for UK consumers.
This company has maintained a stable annual export volume of 60,000 tons of coffee, but its revenue has grown by 40% in 2024 due to higher prices. In addition to its main European market, the company has successfully expanded into new markets.
Countries like Indonesia and those in the Middle East have increased their coffee imports from Vietnam. We focus on producing high-quality products and expect to see a 25% sales growth by 2025.
Coffee exports are expected to reach 6 billion US dollars in 2024. Additionally, the EU's new law banning imports of agricultural products linked to deforestation, the EUDR, has driven Vietnam's coffee sector to focus on producing high-quality and sustainable coffee.
Vietnam is one of the first countries to achieve transparency in traceability. With the EUDR in place, Vietnam has an advantage in proving that our coffee is not at risk.
Other key agricultural products, such as rice and cashews, have also experienced unprecedented growth. As the year draws to a close, the agricultural sector is set to accelerate its efforts to meet the ambitious goal of reaching 60 billion US dollars in export value.
Coming up next on VTV News. Vietnam strengthens cybersecurity measures. And bereaved mother turns loss into strength and inspiration. Welcome back to VTV News. Now, the government has issued Decree 147 regulating the management, provision, and use of Internet services and online information. The decree applies to both domestic and foreign entities and requires social media account authentication to enhance oversight and encourage responsible online behavior.
Starting December 25th, only accounts verified by phone number or personal ID can post, comment, live stream, or share content on social networks. This measure aims to curb fraud, fake news, and harmful content in the digital space.
Individuals using fake identities could easily spread harmful or misleading information. Decree 147 introduces stricter account authentication requirements to promote responsibility and reduce the spread of harmful content.
As a parent, I welcome the changes brought by Decree 147. I believe these measures will better protect my children, and I will guide them to use social networks safely.
The decree also mandates that individuals conducting business via live stream must authenticate their accounts with personal identification. Additionally, for children under 16, parents or guardians must register their information and take responsibility for supervising their online activities and posts.
Decree 147 significantly improves online protection without restricting freedom of speech, contrary to some claims. True freedom does not mean saying whatever comes to mind, nor is it an excuse to insult others or spread false information. The current legal regulations are designed to curb these harmful behaviors.
According to the Ministry of Information and Communications, there has been a noticeable rise in awareness among Internet users, who are increasingly eager to work alongside the government to eliminate false, harmful, and toxic content from cyberspace, thereby fostering a safer and healthier online environment.
To enhance the transparency, accessibility, and effectiveness of its poverty reduction of financial policies, Đắk Nông Province has implemented a policy credit management application. The application has achieved concrete results in advancing national digital transformation efforts.
This application categorizes all poor and near-poor households, students in challenging circumstances, unemployed workers, and families struggling with clean water or housing issues in the locality. By integrating their needs into the app, these groups can easily access the financial support they need. For borrowers, the app offers real-time updates on loan status, repayment schedules, and progress tracking.
Loan officers now spend less time traveling to collect repayments. Interest payments can be updated directly on mobile devices and sent to banks for processing.
Currently, Đắk Nông Province supports more than 73,400 residents with loans aimed at poverty reduction, job creation, and improving living conditions. Every village and savings lending group has adopted the application, delivering benefits to both citizens and administrators.
Local authorities can now monitor all outstanding loans across their jurisdictions and receive notifications on debt status.
The app empowers poor and near-poor households, offering them tools to improve their lives and break free from poverty sustainably.
Local authorities can now monitor all outstanding loans across their jurisdictions and receive notifications on debt status. Beyond providing information, the app delivers practical and targeted assistance tailored to individual needs.
6 years ago, 7-year-old Hai An donated her corneas to 2 other patients after her passing, forever changing their lives. Her story touched countless hearts and inspired deep admiration. And from this profound loss, Hai An's mother, Thuy Dương, embarked on a tireless journey advocating for organ donation. And as a member of the Cornea Bank, she now devotes herself to bringing light to those living in darkness.
The passing of my daughter changed the entire trajectory of my life. I made a media appearance and met up with people with illnesses to explain the process of organ donation as well as the pros and cons that come with it. Things started to look up as the number of donation registration forms kept rising.
I was aware of the whole tragedy before I met her. She wasn't just doing her job as a consultant, she was pouring her heart and soul into persuading people to do a good deed.
It's a truly selfless act to be willing to donate your organs and corneas after you pass away. The families that offer their loved ones organs, the patients who receive transplants, and the doctors who make it possible, they all motivate me to keep pursuing this medical work. As an active advocate of organ donation, I believe life is the most beautiful thing a person can offer to others. The fact that my daughter left this world still cuts deep, and it probably will forevermore. But I believe she is still here with me. It fills me with a sense of pride to think that parts of my daughter's body remain physically active and can sustain someone else's life.
Vietnam is recognized as one of the 14 countries with the world's richest biodiversity. However, it is also a global hotspot for illegal wildlife trade. To protect endangered species, Save Vietnam's Wildlife has established a mobile nature center in Hanoi to raise public awareness about the importance of nature and wildlife conservation.
The Mobile Nature Center consists of 3 buses fitted with insulation, soundproofing, and audio-visual systems. With its modern technology, the center aims to enhance the visitor experience by immersing people in the fascinating world of wild animals.
Many endangered animals are on the brink of extinction due to habitat destruction and poaching. Therefore, we call on people to take drastic actions to preserve biodiversity in Vietnam.
The 3 buses are expected to create a natural sanctuary in the heart of the capital city.
A wonderful way of getting out into the community and engaging people in the wildlife preservation issues. Not just community, but also schools and universities. This is a chance for people to come and find out about the issues, find out what's happening, and learn about what they can do.
The Mobile Nature Center will be put in operation in January 2025, with this campaign launching at 54 locations in Hanoi, mainly at schools, shopping centers, public areas, pedestrian streets, and parks.
On Thursday, the Management Board of Con Đảo National Park in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu Province received recognition for having Vietnam's highest density seabird sanctuary, an award bestowed by the Vietnam Record Book Center. Located at Hòn Trứng or Egg Island in Con Đảo National Park, this sanctuary boasts Vietnam's highest breeding density of seabirds. The 1-hectare area serves as home to tens of thousands of seabirds, with peak nesting and breeding activity occurring from June to July. The sanctuary has become a highlight of Con Đảo National Park's ecotourism routes. The park also received additional recognition from the Vietnam Association for Conservation of Nature and Environment for its 24 heritage trees. Among these specimens is a remarkable 237-year-old Hopia odorata tree, measuring nearly 8 meters in circumference and standing over 30 meters tall. Coming up next in our world news. U.S. readies $725 million arms raid package for Ukraine. And Australia passes world first social media ban for children under 16. Now moving on to our world news, U.S. President Joe Biden's administration is preparing a $725 million weapons package for Ukraine, according to 2 U.S. officials. The decision comes as the outgoing president seeks to support the government in Kiev before leaving office in January. The package will include various anti-tank weapons from U.S. stocks, including landmines, drones, Stinger missiles, and ammunition for high-mobility artillery rocket systems. The U.S. Congress could receive a formal notification of the weapons package as early as Monday. Mexico, Canada, and China warned that new U.S. tariffs on goods would harm all economies involved, trigger inflation spikes, and damage job markets. The 3 largest U.S. trading partners issued this warning after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump announced plans to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian and Mexican imports and a 10% levy on Chinese goods. Leaders and top officials from the 3 nations cautioned that a trade war could erupt, damaging economies, and called for talks with Trump. The countries collectively exported more than $1 trillion worth of goods to the U.S. in the first 9 months of the year. Australia has passed a world-first law banning social media for children under 16. the House of Representatives on Wednesday overwhelmingly approved the legislation by 102 votes to 13. The law does not allow exemptions even with parental consent. However, texting and gaming services will not be subject to restriction. And under the new law, platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, Reddit, X, and Instagram are liable for fines of up to $33 million for systematic failures to prevent children younger than 16 from holding accounts. Meanwhile, TikTok said it will block users under 18 from artificially making their eyes bigger, plumping their lips, or smoothing or changing their skin tone. TikTok's decision to restrict beauty filters for teens follows warnings that beauty filters are negatively impacting young people's mental health. The 2024 International Conducting Competition held in Seoul, South Korea, attracted 224 applicants from 44 countries. These contests evaluate everything from a conductor's hand movements to the jokes they tell. Now join us as we explore this unique gathering.
A conductor sneaks a glance at a Korean greeting written on paper. The orchestra begins playing music under his baton. However, the music soon comes to a halt. The conductor even uses gestures to explain his interpretation of the musical piece. A conductor gives his directions calmly through words. Another conductor expresses himself with big, powerful hand gestures. The other conductor grasps the flow of the music through facial expressions.
Is building trust and relationships with the orchestra to be able to get them on your side and want to play the music the way you want to do.
It may look like a rehearsal, but this is a competition to showcase conducting skills. Unlike other music competitions, conducting contests assess everything from a participant's hand movements to their sense of humor.
What connects all musicians is not written in scores. A good conductor is someone who can express the unwritten.
There are only a handful of competitions for conductors worldwide. A conductor's job is not only to direct the orchestra on the stage, but also to communicate with the audience. This is why the journey to becoming a maestro is not easy.
The goal is to gain diverse experiences and become someone everyone wants to work with, anywhere.
Now, as usual, let's move on to the weather forecast. And that's all the news we have for this hour. To rewatch our program, you can download our mobile app VTVgo or check out our YouTube channel, VTV4Go. Thank you for watching and see you next time.